This is one of those super common tropes in BLCSD, where the reader actually ends up interacting with the author of the book they're rereading. The whole scenario is just so silly and fun. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing a BLCSD drama. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I usually make reaction videos to BLCDs, which is a subgenre of Chinese romance novels that has gained lots of popularity over the past few years. In these types of stories, the protagonist will slip into a book or a CD, and the story focuses on their interaction with the characters inside. If you enjoyed this kind of story and would like to see more, don't forget to subscribe. With that said, let's get started. Before we start the actual drama CD, we'll be going over a summary of what happened in the main story. 𝕓𝕝𝕔𝕕 was a die-hard straight guy who was completely uninterested in guys. One day, however, under the persuasion of his sister, he ended up stumbling into his first yaoi novel, which happened to be written by 𝕓𝕝𝕕, the infamous author known for writing those kinds of books. The moment 𝕓𝕝𝕕 opened the book, he was completely hooked. He quickly finished reading it in one sitting, and he even ended up rereading the whole thing 2 more times after that. 𝕓𝕝𝕕 found himself craving more stories like that. So he went on to buy all of 𝕓𝕝𝕕's other works and devoured them in just a couple of days. He loved everything about the author's style, the characters, the plot, everything. Except for one thing, there were some high-energy scenes that felt off to him. He thought they were a bit too much, and they felt amateurish. To be honest, it really took him out of the story sometimes. Because of this, 𝕓𝕝𝕕 began to suspect that the author either lacked real experience or was a soft girl who wrote these kinds of books for fun. Of course, this was quite impossible, since it was a well-known fact that 𝕓𝕝𝕕 was a man. This meant the only conclusion he could reach was that the author didn't have any experience. While scoffing at the thought, he decided to go on to a forum and posted a rather long comment expressing his thoughts. He explained what he liked about the book, but also mentioned what he didn't like, and gave suggestions on how the author could improve. After posting his comment, he went on to debate with other people about whether 𝕓𝕝𝕕 was a guy or a girl. While arguing with one of the users, 𝕓𝕝𝕕 found himself getting increasingly frustrated. He felt as though the other person was ununderstanding his point of view at all, and no matter what he said, they just kept twisting his words to make it seem like he was trying to slander the author. He was so focused on typing his response that he did, and realized someone was sending him a private message. The person asked him if he was criticizing 𝕓𝕝𝕕's work, and when he responded, "Yeah, I just feel like," before he could finish his sentence, he got interrupted. The other person replied, "Oh, then you must be the one who's not satisfied with my service. How about we meet up in person, and I'll personally satisfy you?" 𝕓𝕝𝕕 frowned. Who was this person? Was it a pervert? He was about to reply when the other person sent another message. "I'm 𝕓𝕝𝕕." 𝕓𝕝𝕕 was shocked. Could it be? He quickly typed, "Are you the author?" And then 𝕓𝕝𝕕 replied, "Yep." The next day, 𝕓𝕝𝕕 went to school and was talking with his friends when suddenly 𝕓𝕝𝕕 showed up. He approached 𝕓𝕝𝕕 and introduced himself. Then he told him he wanted to talk with him alone and walked him to an empty classroom. Once they were inside, 𝕓𝕝𝕕 closed the door and leaned against it, looked at 𝕓𝕝𝕕 and said, "You said you weren't satisfied with my work, so I came to ask you what exactly is it that you want?" 𝕓𝕝𝕕 froze and tried to explain that he was joking, but 𝕓𝕝𝕕 stopped him by placing his fingers on his lips. "Don't bother explaining. I know what you mean." 𝕓𝕝𝕕 blushed and looked away. I don't know what you're talking about." 𝕓𝕝𝕕 chuckled and shook his head. He stepped away from the door and walked closer to 𝕓𝕝𝕕. "Since you want me to improve my writing, maybe I can get you to help me out." 𝕓𝕝𝕕 raised an eyebrow, confused. "What do you mean?" 𝕓𝕝𝕕 leaned closer and whispered, "Let's be together." 𝕓𝕝𝕕 was taken aback by the sudden confession. He stuttered, but we just met, 𝕓𝕝𝕕. "Well, I've known you for a while now. I've been watching you for a while." 𝕓𝕝𝕕, watching me? 𝕓𝕝𝕕 nodded and smiled. "Yep, I've been watching you for a while now. Because I already knew you were gone. Nah, be my boyfriend." 𝕓𝕝𝕕 was stunned. Was he being kidnapped by an obsessive author? Afterward, 𝕓𝕝𝕕 learned that 𝕓𝕝𝕕 had transferred to his school because he wanted to use him as inspiration for his books. He could unhelp but wonder if he was going to end up in one of the author's novels. A couple days later, 𝕓𝕝𝕕 and 𝕓𝕝𝕕 went to the school nurse's office to fill out some documents to become roommates. The nurse smiled and said, "Ooh, so you guys are going to be sharing a bed." Ling Zheng turned red and smacked Xiao Yizi on the shoulder. "Don't talk nonsense." The author only laughed at his reaction and continued to fill out the form. Later that day, they were unpacking their stuff in the shared bedroom. Ling Zheng was uncomfortably quiet, while Xiao Weizi talked animatedly about what he was going to do with his new room. Suddenly, Ling Zheng couldn't take it anymore and shouted, "That post wasn't from me. Do you believe it?" Xiao Weizi paused what he was doing and looked at Ling Zheng. He smiled indulgently. "I believe you. But since you think my high-energy scenes are lacking, how about we try them out for real?" Ling Zheng panicked and tried to explain that he was joking, but Xiao Weizi cut him off again. He got on top of Ling Zheng and began kissing him. "I know you want me, baby. Don't try to act cute and deny it." Ling Zheng was shocked. Did he seriously just agree to date this guy? The author was practically on top of him. The next thing he knew, he was being pushed onto the bed. "Oh wow, you're even better than I imagined. No wonder you're so confident in your writing. Your skills are insane." Ling Zheng felt his face heat up and buried his head in Xiao Weizi's chest. I don't know what you're talking about." Xiao Weizi stroked Ling Zheng's hair and chuckled. "You don't have to pretend anymore. I know you love me." He lifted his head up and kissed Ling Zheng passionately. "It's okay if you can't take the heat. We can slow it down, but I'm enjoying this." Ling Zheng tried to break away, but it was no use. Xiao Weizi's kisses were too overwhelming. He could feel his body respond to the author's touch. Ling Zheng found himself being pulled into the kiss. When they finally broke apart, Ling Zheng looked away to hide his flustered expression. Xiao Weizi smiled. "See, you're enjoying this, aren't you? It's good to know my instincts were correct." Ling Zheng scoffed and turned away. He tried to act annoyed, but he couldn't help but admit that it was kind of nice. In the following days, Ling Zheng realized that having an author as a boyfriend wasn't so bad. He could constantly pester him for updates and sneak peeks, could watch his drafts, and even ask him to read his outlines as bedtime stories. Ling Zheng had done all of this. However, there was something else he wanted to ask the author. One day, while walking home with Xiao Yizi, Ling Zheng couldn't help but ask, "So, why did you come to our school?" Xiao Yizi was quiet for a moment. "For writing inspiration." Ling Zheng narrowed his eyes and crossed his arms. "So you use me as inspiration, and yet you still have the nerve to ask me out?" Xiao Weizi panicked and immediately shifted his tone. No, you are my inspiration." And that's the end of the drama CD. What do you guys think? If you want to hear more dramas like this, please let me know by leaving a comment below. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.